How credible is online information?
Have you ever been convinced by information that later turned out to be untrue? Like when you read an article about amazing health benefits of a specific food. Maybe you even shared it with others, trusting it came from a reliable source, only to discover later that the research behind it was flawed. The internet is filled with false posts, images, and videos that are easy to spot as ridiculous, like those crazy conspiracy theories about famous landmarks being secret alien bases. But there are other times when the truth isn't so clear-cut. It can leave you feeling confused and unsure about what to believe. For example, a post that has scientific claims. Sometimes believing false information may not have serious consequences. For example, when you hear an online rumor about a popular restaurant being closed down, only to find out that it was a prank. But in other cases, misinformation can have far-reaching effects. For example, an online read which states that climate change is not real. Misleading data may have serious consequences, especially if it influences important policy decisions or guidelines. For example, misinformation during early days of COVID-19 pandemic led to delays in public health measures and public confusion. For decades, the tobacco industry misled the public by downplaying the health risks associated with smoking. This influenced policy decisions and delayed effective tobacco control measures. How can you know what information is trustworthy? Well, mastering the art of critical thinking is key, not just for school, but for life in general. Critical thinking will also empower you to take charge of your online presence instead of being overwhelmed by it. In fact, it's the most valuable skill you can have no matter what information you encounter. But remember, this is especially crucial when it comes to the vast realm of the internet. Have you ever used any tool that can enhance your critical thinking skills or determine the trustworthiness of online sources? Well, we have a solution for you that is CRAP Test. This CRAP test, created by Molly Beestrom, serves as a valuable tool for quickly assessing sources in your everyday information-seeking endeavors. The CRAP test is a simple acronym that helps remember key questions to ask when evaluating the credibility of information, particularly online. CRAP stands for currency, reliability, authority, and purpose or point of view. Let's break it down and see how it can guide your evaluation process. C stands for currency. Currency refers to the timeless or relevance of the information. It's important to consider how recent the information is and how relevant it is in the current context. For example, if you are researching the impact of social media on society, you will want to prioritize recent studies published within the last couple of years rather than research from several years ago. R stands for reliability. You want to make sure that the information you are getting is accurate and trustworthy. So some questions that you can consider are: what type of information does resource contain? Is the content mostly based on opinions? Does it provide a balanced perspective? Does the creator provide references or sources for their information? And most importantly, is the information backed up by evidence, facts, or reliable sources? For example, if you are researching climate change, you will want to find information that is supported by peer-reviewed articles conducted by reputable scientists. Evaluate content against each of the questions you learned in the previous screen to check the reliability of the source. Now let's move on to A in the CRAP test. The A stands for authority. This is about understanding who or what is behind the information. For example, when writing a sociology paper on gender inequality, you will want to look for scholar articles written by experts in the field. Or when you are examining medical advice, you will want to make sure that the author has qualification and credentials, such as doctors or medical researchers. So some questions you can consider are, does author or content creator have the right credentials and expertise? Who is publishing or sponsoring the content? Can they be trusted? What's the publisher's interest, if any, in the information? Are there any ads on your website? Knowing these answers to these questions will help you determine the credibility of the information. Now, the P in acronym CREP refers to purpose or point of view. Basically, it means considering the intentions and potential biases of the information source. You need to assess whether the information is presented objectively or if there's some specific agenda or biases involved. Let's say you are researching a controversial social issue. In that case, it's important to critically evaluate the purpose and potential biases of your sources. For example, you might look into advocacy groups of opinion pieces to understand different perspectives and form a well-rounded viewpoint. Therefore, to evaluate the purpose or point of view of the source, you can ask yourself a few questions about the content. Is it a fact or just an opinion? Does the author provide sources or references? Can there be any biases involved? Is the author trying to influence or support a specific agenda? Another thing to consider is whether the creator or the author is trying to sell you something. If they are, do they make it clear? The CREP test framework offers a structured method for evaluating any information you find online. Now, the level of scrutiny you apply to an information source might vary depending on what you intend to do with it. If you just need a brief understanding of a topic or want to see what others have said about something you are interested in, let's say learning how to compost, you don't necessarily need an in-depth academic resource. Websites like Wikipedia can be a great tool for getting a quick overview. You can use social media tools to get a sense of informally share opinions and content related to a topic. On the other hand, if you are writing a research paper, you need to be extra critical about the sources you use. Therefore, when you need reliable sources to back up your arguments in an assignment, use the CREP tool to help you evaluate both academic articles and freely available information on the internet. The CREP tool can even come in handy in a workplace when you are looking for materials for a project or report. However, thorough evaluation is absolutely essential, especially when crucial business decisions rely on the information you provide. Now, you must be wondering whether you really have to go through the whole CREP framework every time you evaluate something. Maybe not, but it can be useful as a helpful reminder of what to consider. With enough practice, you will start to ask these important questions without even thinking about it. As Stephen Hawking once said, the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. Therefore, it is important to be critical of the information while remaining open to accepting the unknown.